Archangel Michael's voice comes to you now, not as a distant echo, but as a powerful, unshakable presence that surrounds your very soul with divine light and unrelenting purpose. Because there is a soul out there, perhaps someone you know, someone you have loved and even overlooked, who teeters on the edge of despair, who stands at the crossroads of darkness and light. And you, beloved, are the final beacon of hope that heaven has, placed on this earth to prevent a tragedy so profound that it would ripple through the heavens and break the heart of God Himself. This is a sacred calling that is heavy, yet filled with grace, a mission bestowed upon you not because of your perfection, but because of your willingness to be the vessel through which heaven can pour love, mercy, and light into a broken heart. Understand this truth deeply. When someone contemplates the unbearable weight of ending their own life, it is not a simple choice made in isolation, but a cry for rescue from the depths of a soul drowning in pain so invisible that only those appointed by divine decree can see it clearly. You may have been unaware until now that your presence, your words, your very existence could be the lifeline that holds that soul above the abyss. Archangel Michael reveals that this is no coincidence, no random crossing of paths, but a deliberate, divine alignment orchestrated to place you at the precise moment and place to intercept the darkness that threatens to consume another. The spiritual battle surrounding this person is fierce, an intense war waged between light and shadow, where every small act of kindness, every sincere prayer, and every moment you choose compassion over judgment becomes a sword of light piercing through the gloom. This person's pain may be silent, hidden behind smiles, social media posts, or even a hardened exterior that screams, "I am okay," but the truth lies beneath where despair lurks, and they are looking for a reason, just one reason, to keep holding on, and you are that reason. Archangel Michael charges you with the weighty responsibility and the incredible privilege of being that reason, reminding you that you are not alone in this, that divine help is flooding your being with courage, wisdom, and an unyielding strength to reach out, to see beyond the surface, and to fight for a life that feels lost. The enemy of hope is crafty and relentless, whispering lies that tell that person they are worthless, unloved, and beyond help. But you are the living proof of God's mercy and love. Every message you send, every call you make, every prayer you utter, and even the smallest gesture of genuine care you offer can shatter the deception that seeks to trap them. Your words have power, not just in the natural, but in the spiritual realm, and this power can ignite a spark in their weary heart that grows into a flame of resilience and desire to live. Archangel Michael insists that you prepare yourself for moments when your patience will be tested, when discouragement tries to silence your voice, because the battle for this person's soul is not swift or easy. It is a marathon of love, endurance, and faith that requires you to lean heavily on divine strength when your own feels depleted. You will need to become an unwavering presence, a steady anchor in the storm of their life, a reminder that they are not forgotten, not abandoned, and not beyond redemption. The Archangel's message also carries a warning. Do not allow fear or shame to hold you back from stepping into this sacred role, because every hesitation could cost a life, and every act of courage could save one. You may feel unqualified, overwhelmed, or ill-equipped, but know that it is precisely your imperfections and your vulnerability that make you uniquely suited to this mission. Heaven does not call the perfect, it calls the willing. As you open your heart to this calling, you will begin to see signs, synchronicities, and subtle nudges guiding you closer to the person who needs you most. It may be a neighbor, a friend, a family member, or even a stranger crossing your path. But rest assured that your awareness is being heightened by divine intervention, so you will not miss the opportunity to intervene. Archangel Michael's sword of justice is drawn not to bring condemnation, but to cut through the lies of despair and carve a path to hope, healing, and new life. In this sacred work, your prayers become shields, your love becomes armor, and your faith becomes a sword sharper than any darkness. The urgency of this message cannot be overstated, for the enemy's time to claim this soul is running out, and the window for intervention is narrowing. This is a spiritual emergency broadcast from heaven to your heart, to wake you up from complacency and to stir a fire within you that will not rest until this person is safely brought back into the light. Archangel Michael is beseeching you, begging you to listen with your soul, to act with fearless love, and to stand firm in the conviction that through you, a life can be saved, a destiny preserved, and heaven's plan fulfilled in miraculous ways. This is your moment to become a warrior of light, a guardian angel on earth, and the final hope for someone who has nearly given up on life. You have been chosen, called, and equipped for this holy mission, and the consequences of your response will echo into eternity, touching not just the life of that person, but countless others who will be impacted by the miracle of their survival. The light you carry is brighter than the darkness they face, and with Archangel Michael by your side, you will never walk this path alone. This is the beginning of a divine partnership that will transform despair into hope, sorrow into joy, and death into life, because heaven never abandons its own, and now, neither will you. The urgency of Archangel Michael's message intensifies now as you are invited to peer deeper into the spiritual reality surrounding this precious soul who is on the verge of surrendering to the crushing weight of hopelessness, because the battle for their life is not merely physical or emotional, but spiritual, a war waged in the unseen realms where angels and dark forces collide over the fate of one human heart. This is a time for profound spiritual vigilance and divine courage, as the enemy of light uses every weapon in its arsenal: deception, isolation, guilt, shame, and fear, to convince this person that their pain is insurmountable and that the world would be better off without them. Yet Archangel Michael reveals that your role is far greater than you realize, that your prayers and actions are a force of God's grace that have already begun to shift the tides of this battle. It is essential that you understand how powerful you truly are as a co-laborer with heaven. Your words can disarm the enemy's lies. Your presence can break the chains of loneliness. And your faith can ignite a hope so fierce that it penetrates the darkest corners of despair. The Archangel urges you to become a constant beacon, a lighthouse that does not flicker or falter even when the storm rages fiercest, because consistency and unwavering love are some of the most potent weapons against suicidal thoughts. Even the smallest gestures, checking in with a message, offering a listening ear, sharing a kind smile, can be the divine interventions that hold a fragile life in place when they're moments away from falling. You may feel inadequate or uncertain of how to proceed, but this is precisely the moment when you must surrender those fears to God and lean fully into the strength being poured into you. The battle for this soul will require your patience, your compassion, and your courage to listen without judgment, to love without conditions, and to stand firm as a guardian when the darkness tries to convince them that they are alone. Archangel Michael reminds you that sometimes this fight will require you to intercede through prayer with a ferocity you never thought possible, to call upon the hosts of heaven to surround and protect this individual with an impenetrable shield of light. You're being commissioned not just as a friend or family member, but as a spiritual warrior called to wage holy war against despair itself. It may feel overwhelming, and moments of discouragement may try to whisper lies into your own heart, that your efforts are futile, that the person is beyond saving, or that the weight is too much to bear. But these are the very lies you must reject fiercely, knowing that every act of love you extend ripples through eternity and has the power to turn despair into deliverance. Archangel Michael instructs you to keep watch for signs from the spirit realm, dreams, sudden insights, moments of intuition. These are heavenly signals guiding you closer to the person in crisis, equipping you with wisdom on how best to intervene. You are not alone in this. The archangel and countless angelic beings are encircling you, lending their strength to your mission. There will be moments when you must be bold, when speaking words of truth and hope is more important than staying silent out of fear. Your voice can become the voice of God to that person, reminding them that they are deeply loved, infinitely valuable, and never forgotten. This mission may demand sacrifices, sleepless nights, tears, and endless prayers, but also promises the most profound reward, the saving of a life that is precious beyond measure. Archangel Michael calls you to rise into this sacred responsibility with an open heart and fearless spirit, because the enemy's plan is to isolate and silence that soul, but your purpose is to reach in and pull them out of the darkness. Your role may involve steady presence, gentle encouragement, or even urgent intervention if the situation demands. But above all, you must be vigilant and compassionate. The archangel's sword of justice is drawn against the forces trying to steal this soul's future, but it is your hands that will help carry them back to life. There is no room for hesitation. Every moment counts in this divine mission, and your obedience to this calling could be the very thing that tips the scales toward hope and healing. As you continue to walk this path, Archangel Michael promises that your own spirit will be strengthened and renewed, that through this battle you will be transformed by grace, learning the depth of God's love and the power of intercession. The Archangel's presence will be your constant companion, shielding you from despair and filling you with courage to press on even when the way seems impossible. You are not alone. You are chosen, equipped, and beloved beyond measure, and the outcome of this sacred mission rests in your hands, entrusted by heaven itself. Know that every tear you shed, every prayer you utter, and every moment you choose to stand in faith is part of a divine tapestry that weaves life back into a soul on the brink. This is your divine destiny, to be the final hope, the light in the darkness, the reason another breath is drawn, and a life continues. Do not shrink back or doubt your importance in this holy battle. Rise now, move forward with courage, and let the power of Archangel Michael's heavenly mandate flow through you as a river of life and hope for the one who needs you most. The weight of what you're being called to bear in this moment cannot be overstated, for you stand as a crucial guardian at the crossroads of life and death for someone whose heart is burdened beyond what many can see or understand. Archangel Michael's plea echoes not just as a distant call, but as a thunderous roar in the spiritual realm, urging you to awaken to the seriousness of the mission ahead. This is no ordinary circumstance. It is a divine emergency where the enemy's grip tightens, seeking to extinguish a precious flame that heaven values more than words can express. The reality is that suicide is not merely a tragic choice, but a spiritual attack, a deception that distorts the soul's perception of worth and hope. Archangel Michael reveals that many souls who find themselves on this precipice are ensnared by lies. Lies that they are alone, that they are a burden, that their pain will never end, or that their existence is meaningless. Your role is to shatter these illusions with the unshakable truth of God's love and purpose. This truth must resonate through your actions, your prayers, and your words, even when it feels like you're fighting against an invisible tide. It is vital to recognize that this battle transcends human understanding, requiring you to access divine wisdom and strength daily. Archangel Michael instructs that this is a time for heightened spiritual armor, the helmet of salvation to guard your mind, the breastplate of righteousness to protect your heart, the belt of truth to hold you firm against deception, the shield of faith to extinguish the fiery darts of doubt, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, to cut through darkness with light. To be effective, your spiritual discipline must be unwavering. Prayer is your frontline weapon, And intercession is your lifeline for the one you are called to save. You are to become a relentless advocate in the heavenly courts, petitioning God's mercy and grace to encircle this person and fortify their spirit. Archangel Michael also urges you to be alert for the subtle signs that indicate progress or further distress. Shifts in mood, sudden withdrawals, cryptic messages, or changes in behavior. These are often silent cries for help that require your attentive presence. Your response, no matter how small it may seem, carries the power to alter their trajectory. The archangel stresses the importance of surrounding this person with a community of love, whether that means encouraging them to seek professional help, connecting them with spiritual mentors, or simply being their unwavering friend. The enemy's strategy often involves isolation, but your intervention must break that cycle. Your role is to be the embodiment of God's steadfast love, unwavering even in the darkest moments. You must communicate not only through words, but through consistent presence, showing up when it's hardest and loving when it seems least deserved. Archangel Michael reminds you that this mission requires a balance of compassion and strength, a tender heart that listens without judgment, and a warrior's courage to confront the darkness head-on. There will be days when discouragement threatens to overwhelm you, when progress seems invisible, and when the burden feels too heavy to carry. It is precisely in these moments that you must anchor yourself in the promises of God, recalling that no effort of love is wasted in His kingdom. Your perseverance is the thread that holds hope together, and your faith is the shield that protects the vulnerable. The archangel reveals that divine reinforcements are already being dispatched in response to your prayers and dedication. Angels encamped around this soul, ministering unseen healing and strength. You are not walking this path alone. The entire heavenly host stands with you, ready to assist as you fulfill this holy mandate. Moreover, Archangel Michael encourages you to prepare for the breakthrough that is coming. Though the enemy may have raged fiercely, the dawn of hope is near. Your faithful obedience will unlock the chains binding this person's soul, opening a pathway to restoration, peace, and renewed purpose. This miracle will not come without struggle, but it will come. It is imperative that you remain vigilant, nurturing, and fearless in your intercession, because you are the vessel through which heaven's healing flows. Your prayers are the lifeblood of this battle, and your love is the bridge from despair to redemption. Finally, the archangel exhorts you to care for your own spirit amid this fight. The intensity of this mission demands rest, prayer, and moments of renewal so you can stand strong day after day. Remember that your strength is multiplied when you stay connected to God's presence and allow His peace to guard your heart. This is a marathon of grace, not a sprint of human will. You are a chosen warrior, anointed and empowered to be the last hope standing between darkness and light for this precious soul. Rise with the confidence that your obedience is changing eternal destinies, and let the fullness of Archangel Michael's power and authority flow through you as you continue this sacred mission with unwavering resolve. The gravity of this moment continues to deepen as Archangel Michael reveals the unseen battles waging within the spiritual realms that directly impact the fragile soul you are striving to protect. This is not just a personal struggle for one individual, but a cosmic conflict, a war between the forces of light and darkness, where your faith and actions become pivotal in tipping the scales. Understand that when you feel overwhelmed, it is precisely because you are engaged in spiritual warfare on a level few comprehend, but you are not alone. Archangel Michael stands beside you, a divine warrior of immeasurable power, ready to intervene at your call, to wield his mighty sword to cut through the lies and chains that seek to enslave this precious life. The archangel instructs that your prayers must be relentless and fervent, for prayer is the lifeline that connects heaven's power to earth's brokenness. It is through prayer that you summon the heavenly host to encamp around this person, shielding them from the enemy's schemes and ushering in divine protection. The urgency in this charge cannot be overstated, because the enemy's intent is to silence this soul forever, to snatch away a life meant for greatness and purpose. But God's plan for this person is not finished. Their story is far from over, and you have been chosen as the critical instrument of deliverance. You are urged to speak life into every despairing thought, to declare God's promises aloud over their mind and heart. Speak words of hope, of restoration, of new beginnings, and of divine favor, knowing that every word carries spiritual weight that could dismantle strongholds of fear and hopelessness. Archangel Michael reminds you that your consistency matters. Every moment you invest, every prayer you whisper, every act of love extended builds a fortress of light around the soul. You are to be patient but persistent, gentle but firm, present but powerful. This is a season that will demand your entire being, your time, your energy, your faith, and your courage. The Archangel reveals that the enemy will fight back with increased intensity, trying to sow seeds of doubt within you, to discourage your heart, and to convince you that your efforts are futile. But these are lies meant to break your spirit and halt the breakthrough that is near. Stand firm against these assaults by continually anchoring yourself in God's truth and surrounding yourself with a community of prayer warriors who can bolster your strength when you feel weak. Archangel Michael also highlights the importance of discernment in this battle. Be vigilant to recognize subtle spiritual attacks disguised as everyday challenges, unexpected setbacks, sudden emotional shifts, or discouraging news that may try to shake your resolve. When these arise, respond immediately with prayer and declarations of faith, refusing to allow the enemy any foothold. The Archangel advises you to remember that miracles often emerge from the darkest nights. The very moment when the soul is most vulnerable is when divine intervention is poised to break through in a spectacular display of God's power and love. Trust that as you persevere, you are participating in the unfolding of a divine rescue mission that will bring glory to God and eternal life to the one you are fighting for. Furthermore, Archangel Michael calls you to be a beacon of hope, not just for the person at risk, but for all who are watching, whether they realize it or not. Your courage to stand in the gap models the love and faithfulness of God, inspiring others to engage in their own battles with renewed vigor. This ripple effect can awaken a movement of salvation and healing that extends far beyond what you see in a moment. The Archangel also urges you to prepare your heart for the victory that is coming. Though the journey is arduous and the nights long, a new dawn is breaking. The breakthrough will manifest as a renewed spirit, a restored will to live, and a rekindled hope that lights the way forward. This victory will not only save a life, but will transform it, releasing this person into their God-given destiny, filled with purpose, joy, and peace. It is a testament to the power of faithful intercession and the unstoppable force of divine love. Finally, Archangel Michael reminds you to guard your own soul throughout this process. The weight of such a mission can be heavy, but God's grace is sufficient, and His strength is made perfect in weakness. Take time daily to rest in God's presence, to renew your spirit through worship and meditation on His promises. This will sustain you and empower you to continue as a fearless warrior and tender caregiver in this battle for a life. You are chosen, you are anointed, and you are empowered by heaven itself. Stand firm, beloved, for your faithfulness is changing eternal destinies, and a great victory is on the horizon.